Welcome to A Course in Miracles. We're reading in the text. We're in chapter 13, The Guiltless World, section 11, The Peace of Heaven. Forget and sleep and even death become the ego's best advice for dealing with the perceived and harsh intrusion of guilt on peace. Yet no one sees himself in conflict and ravaged by a cruel war unless he believes that both opponents in the war are real. Believing this, he must escape, for such a war would surely end his peace of mind and so destroy him. Yet, if he could but realize the war is between real and unreal powers, he could look upon himself and see his freedom. No one finds himself ravaged and torn in endless battles if he himself perceives them as wholly without meaning. God would not have his son embattled, and so his son's imagined enemy is totally unreal. I'll pause here and say, in A Course in Miracles, we're taught that only God's will is real. The ego's will is but a fantasy, a nightmare. You are but trying to escape a bitter war from which you have escaped. The war is gone. I'm going to pause here and say, that's really interesting. The war is gone. I remember a few years ago, I was sitting in quiet contemplation and meditation, and so clearly the words came through, love has already won. Love has already won. And I sat with that, and I felt the truth of it, even though I didn't cognitively understand what it meant. For you have heard the hymn of freedom rising unto heaven. Gladness and joy belong to God for your release, because you made it not. Yet as you made not freedom, so you made not a war that could endanger freedom. I'll pause here and say, that's quite interesting. We didn't make freedom, God did. And we don't have the ability to endanger what God made. Nothing destructive ever was or will be. Wow, I'm going to read that again. Nothing destructive ever was or will be. Wow. If God is love and God's will reigns omnipotent, then nothing destructive ever was or will be. So what is this imagined war then? The war, the guilt, the past are gone as one into the unreality from which they came. When we are all united in heaven, you will value nothing that you value here. For nothing that you value here do you value wholly, and so you do not value it at all. Value is where God placed it, and the value of what God esteems cannot be judged, for it has been established. It is wholly of value. It can merely be appreciated or not. Wow, let's pause and reflect on that. What God creates, its value is indisputable. So we merely choose whether we appreciate it or not. Do we appreciate peace? Do we appreciate love? Do we appreciate these unassailable gifts from God? Or do we scorn them and reject them because we'd rather live in a nightmare? To value it partially is not to know its value. In heaven is everything God values and nothing else. Heaven is perfectly unambiguous. Everything is clear and bright and calls forth one response. There is no darkness and there is no contrast. There is no variation. There is no interpretation. There is no interruption. There is a sense of peace so deep that no dream in this world has ever brought even a dim imagining of what it is. Wow. Nothing in this world can give this peace, for nothing in this world is wholly shared. Perfect perception can merely show you what is capable of being wholly shared. It can also show you the results of sharing, while you still remember the results of not sharing. The Holy Spirit points quietly to the contrast, knowing that you will finally let him judge the difference for you, allowing him to demonstrate which must be true. He has perfect faith in your final judgment because he knows that he will make it for you. To doubt this would be to doubt that his mission will be fulfilled. How is this possible when his mission is of God? I'll pause here and say, to the ego doesn't like that God is omnipotent and that the ego is meaningless. But this is our salvation. That you are still as God created you, perfect, whole, and complete. And no delusion and no nightmare, No temporary insanity has changed your inherent value, nor could it ever. You whose mind is darkened by doubt and guilt, remember this: God gave the Holy Spirit to you and gave him the mission to remove all doubt and every trace of guilt that his dear Son has laid upon himself. It is impossible that this mission fail. Wow. Let's celebrate that. It is impossible that this mission fail. At some point, there will be no more doubt or any trace of guilt left in you. And that could be today if you want it, if you were ready, if you were willing. But it doesn't have to be. Nothing can prevent what God would have accomplished from accomplishment. Whatever your reactions to the Holy Spirit's voice may be, whatever voice you choose to listen to, whatever strange thoughts may occur to you, God's will is done. You will find the peace in which he has established you, because he does not change his mind. He is invariable as the peace in which you dwell and of which the Holy Spirit reminds you. You will not remember change and shift in heaven. You have need of contrast only in here. Contrasts and differences are necessary teaching aids, for by them you learn what to avoid and what to seek. When you have learned this, you will find the answer that makes the need for any differences disappear. Truth comes of its own will unto its own. When you have learned that you belong to truth, it will flow lightly over you without a difference of any kind. For you will need no contrast to help you realize that this is what you want, and only this. Fear not, the Holy Spirit will fail in what your Father has given him to do. The will of God can fail in nothing. Have faith in only this one thing, and it will be sufficient. God wills you be in heaven, and nothing can keep you from it, or it from you. Your wildest misperceptions, your weird imaginings, your blackest nightmares all mean nothing. They will not prevail against the peace of God. They will not prevail against the peace God wills for you. The Holy Spirit will restore your sanity, because insanity is not the will of God. If that suffices him, it is enough for you. You will not keep what God would have removed, because it breaks communication with you, with whom he would communicate. His voice will be heard. So beautiful. Let's stop here for today and just reflect on this glorious, beautiful, redeeming truth. His voice will be heard. A Course in Miracles says that this course isn't optional. The only choice we really have is whether to delay the truth or not, because his voice will be heard. You will be brought to a remembrance of the love that you are, sooner or later. And A Course in Miracles is designed for that to be sooner. Thanks for being here. Beautiful, perfect, and whole, as you were created and as you still remain. I love you. See you soon.